6 years since he last won a professional boxing match. Can Pacquiao do the unthinkable and win the world title, or is Barios going to smash him to bits?
El Azteca Barrios.
Hi everyone, it's Dave here from Boxing Updates. Hope you're all well. Just wanted to take a bit of time to talk about the upcoming fight between Mario Barrios, not a good start, and Manny Pacquiao for the WBC strap. That's coming soon into July. It's an interesting fight, something I'm really looking forward to. I've got a lot of thoughts about it. I think there's some controversy and some things to be discussed about that fight. There's obviously the fact that it's for the WBC belt, and that in itself has caused plenty of controversy. I'm not really going to touch on that because I don't care. I don't think it's right, but, you know, if there's any fighter out there that's probably done enough to earn it, it's someone like Pacquiao. So, you know, whatever. It's interesting. I want to see the fight, so you know, let it be. We've all got our opinions. There's things that other fighters who deserve a chance before him, but, you know, it's boxing. Money speaks, doesn't it? Or money talks. Money talks. That's a song. It's a good song. So there's plenty of footage out there leading up to the fight. Pacquiao training, mainly pad work or shadow boxing. In fact, there was the video that was released, I think it was a few days ago, of them in some sort of shadow box competition party where they all got in a circle and made woo noises and took turns and threw hands. And it was a bit weird. Come on! But yeah, you know, it was good. It was good to watch. Shane Mosley was there. He's still lightning fast, that man. But yeah, I think they're trying to show that Pacquiao still has his hands and still is what he was. I don't know if I agree with that. I don't agree with it. I do know, actually. I'm being far too wishy-washy with that. I don't agree with it. I don't think his hands are as fast as they were, but it's not a great surprise. He's 46. Incidentally, 46. Very good age. Some of the best people are 46. But anyway, I get distracted. So yeah, so I think it's an interesting fight, and they're building it. And you know, we've got also the interviews that Pac's done recently.
Fight. Eddie Hearn in the UK said that he admits, of course, that you're a legend in the sport, but you have no shot in the fight. What do you want to say in response to that?
We'll see. It's hard to prejudge before the fight, so we will see on the fight.
As always, full of humility, confidence, but he's not brash. It's why people like him, isn't it? Someone like Barios would have been made for Pacquiao. Pacquiao, I think, would have tore through him. And that's not discredit to Barios. I think he's a really good fighter, but I just think stylistically he'd work for him. Today, at 46, young 46, I don't know if I feel the same. Well, I don't feel the same way. I'm sitting on the fence a lot with it, but I know what I feel, and I don't think it's a massive surprise what I'm going to say and who I'm going to say I think he's going to win. But I suppose it's now is that age. Is he going to come back and, you know, win the title and do, you know, the impossible or not? You know, there's parallels being drawn to Bernard Hopkins and stuff, but it's just nonsense. It's not really, I don't think comments like that are thought through. The biggest strength for me was that footwork that some people called sloppy. It was unorthodox, but it was that ability to ping in and out of position, to be all over the ring. He would never be in the same place for any length of time, and he would get in there and he would use them unorthodox angles, that hand speed and power to fire shots really accurate, and it was so dangerous. And somewhat ironically for me, one of the things that made him so special, that sort of footwork and that coming in and out, and what made him so dangerous, is the thing I think he's lost now. And I don't think he's going to have that ability to do what he used to do. You couple that with the fact that his defence could be leaky, he was susceptible to sort of counter-punching, it could knock him out of his rhythm. You've lost that thing that made him such a dangerous fighter, that not just the hand speed and the power and the angles and stuff, but that ability to get in. It's like a package, and I think it's gone. I don't think his feet are there. They certainly didn't look it in his last two fights, and they were 4 and 6 years ago, respectively. And, you know, you don't get better with age. You're not a wine. He's 46 now, and even though he's saying I wasn't up for the Ugas fight, which I don't doubt, but it's 4 years down the line, and you've been inactive. Well, inactive bar one little fight, which we will get onto shortly. But yeah, so that I think is the main issue, and I think that's what's going to be a real problem. And I think there's a lot of people out there making really sort of broad statements about age and stuff. Oh, he's a special talent, and he is. There's no doubt about it. But it's just words. It's not. There's no reason behind that. It's just someone saying, it's a bit misty-eyed, isn't it? There is a reason that we have a prime. Well, boxers have a prime, and when they're at the best. It is a subjective, individual thing, but there's no evidence to suggest. There's evidence to the contrary, actually, that Pacquiao has got worse. Some fighters lose their prime very early. Mike Tyson, 23. Apparently. And it is an interesting thing, and I think the age thing is really, really relevant in this fight. And if he was just like someone like maybe Vitaly Klitschko, who, post the fact everyone says, oh, he was past it when he fought Fury and Joshua and that, but up until then he was ranked top 3 pound for pound in the world. But we just do that as boxing fans, don't we? But his decline was seen in the ring. He constantly fighting and fighting, and then came to the end of his career, and there was no doubt it was the right time for the end of his career. So Pacquiao fought Ugas in 21, 4 years ago, pretty much near enough to the date of this fight, and then 2 years before that he fought Thurman. And he was active up until then, relatively active anyway, and that's it. So we haven't seen that decline in the ring. There's been a big gap, and it's going to be really telling. And that's it. That's what's quite interesting. 12 months ago, he had an exhibition fight against, I'm going to get his name so badly wrong, Rukia Ampo. Sorry. But yeah, he had this exhibition fight 12 months ago. And yeah, it's an exhibition fight. He's not been in camp for it. He's not, no one's suggesting he was at his best. But he looked dreadful. And for a lot of that, there was glimmers of stuff, but for a lot of that fight, he just got beaten up and by a kickboxer. And there was people talking about, well, he's 6 foot, he's the tallest fighter he's ever fought. Barios is 6 foot, and he's a professional world champion, a boxer as well. And like I say, I'm not taking too much from it, but he looked dreadful, and a lot of people after that fight were, saying, please don't come back to boxing, Manny, please don't come back. You looked old. So a year ago, move on to today, that same fighter is now coming back, and yes, I'm not, like I say, I'm not doubting for a second that it's very different, but I just do think it's very important and relevant. And I also think it's a bit weird that people aren't really talking about it that much. Certainly not. I've seen it mentioned, but it's a big point. And I just think when you couple that with the fact that we've got, the Thurman win was amazing. To do that was amazing, but he still didn't look like a Pacquiao of old. Obviously, he was getting on, and that's 6 years ago. And then 4 years ago, he gets beaten by a fighter in his prime. He would have handled with ease. And now, 3 years after that, we have the exhibition fight where he just looks like an old man. And now we're having this fight against Barios.
Just a nice shot. Look, right on the side of the face. Beautiful shot. No jab needed.
So I think with Barios, he's a good fighter, and I said this, and I do think he's a good fighter. He's got 2 losses on his record, and then nothing to be ashamed of against Thurman and Davis. And you look at kind of his strengths, and he's a big guy. He's tall. He's got big frame. He uses his reach well to keep range and stuff, but I don't always think he takes advantage of his size as much as he probably could do. He's got an excellent jab. He sets up combos. He's good to the body. He took some massive shots from Davis and Thurman. I don't think there's any question in his chin. And I think he's a good fighter. And that is why I just don't really give Pacquiao much of a chance. And I think there'll be little glimmers early on, I'm sure. But I think ultimately he's going to be standing still too long. He is not going to be using his footwork like he used to, and I think time will catch up. And I think probably by around the mid-rounds, he's probably going to get stopped on his feet, I imagine. So there we go. I go Barios, TKO, round 8. I think Manny will have a couple of good rounds, but then slowly his age will start to show. He won't be able to get in and out like he used to, and I think Barios will win and grind him down, maybe drop him on the way. How do you have it? Drop it in the comments. If you think I'm on the money, let me know. If I'm full of shit and I'm wrong, let me know likewise. Trying to get this more consistent, so more videos are going to be coming out. Obviously, any support is great. Even watching the videos is great. Getting this far is amazing. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, and ring my bell. Bye-bye.